Okay, so today I would like to share with you the importance of self-love. I remember quite many years ago when my coach told me to create a project about loving myself. I was like, what do you mean? I love myself. What are you talking about? And she said, really? So she asked me to start noticing it. So I did, and that was my practice. I started noticing, was I loving myself or not? And what I came to realize was I was really hard on myself. I didn't realize how much I was really hard on myself. I'll give you an example. I remember when I first started facilitating, whenever I'm on stage, after I'm done, when I come down, the first thing that I would think about is, boy, I did that wrong, I didn't do that well. Instead of celebrating that I finished presenting, those were the only things I could focus on. So I was really hard on myself. I looked at what went wrong, how bad I did, and just how not good enough I was. So with the work that I do, what I've come to understand and realize that many of us judge ourselves a lot. We're really hard on ourselves. We judge how we look, we judge how we behave. We actually blame ourselves for mistakes that we've done. At times, we even feel regret for mistakes we've done. And we continue to tell that story over and over and over again in our mind, punishing ourselves and continues to create the suffering. And so, with the continuous inner work that I do, I've come to realize really what's important is the foundation is self-love. So as I embark on my own self-love journey, I began to accept myself more. I was more willing to forgive myself and allow myself to make mistakes instead of judging myself. I began to honor myself, respect myself, and value myself. I actually began to treat myself as the best person ever. I became my own soulmate. I would like to share with you a very simple teaching of self-love. I was really grateful that, when I was preparing for my Heart of Loving Yourself retreat, Spirit guided me with this model. It's a very simple model. It's a triangle where on the left side you see selfless, on the right side you see selfish, and on top of the triangle is self-love. Very often people come and ask me, what's the difference between self-love and selfish? So through this model, my intention is to explain to you. So let's talk about selfless first, right? Selfless means it's someone who keeps giving. They give and give and give, and they meet other people's needs, but not their own needs. So for example, myself, that's where I was many years ago. When I first had my children, that's what I did. I thought that's the right thing to do. That's the most humble thing to do, and the noble thing to do is to keep giving, 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 and meeting their needs. But in the midst of that, I forget to meet my own needs. So here's a simple demonstration of what I was talking about, okay? So if someone who is selfless, this is what happens. So if you notice, this cup is someone who is selfless, right? So they continuously give other people. They meet other people's needs instead of their own need. And so here is a jar of water, which represents love. And so what happens is when this person receives, as you can see, they just keep giving. And no matter how much you pour, it's never enough. Selfish is basically someone who only thinks about themselves and their own needs and not others, right? So basically what they do is, they might take actions or behave a certain way thinking of themselves only, but may have a cost on other people. Okay, so selfish is basically me, 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 me. That's it. So basically this is what happens. They will take from others, right? So they're just going to think about themselves, their own needs. They just keep taking, taking, and taking. And at times what they do, they might empty other people's love tank. So, selfless and selfish, those two places are coming from a place of lack. So let me explain what I mean by that. Selfless is someone who gives with the intention that someone will give them back in return, right? So they thought that if they keep giving, that they give people their love and attention, whoever they're giving the love and attention, they will receive it back. And very often, if they don't, what's going to happen is they're going to feel resentment, and they're going to move from the left side to the right side. And they started thinking, you know what, if you don't care about me, I'm just going to care about myself. And then they move into this space, I'm just going to meet my own needs and I don't care about your needs, right? And so what happens is someone who are from selfless will ping pong between those two. So selfish person basically think there's not enough love. And most likely because of the way they grew up and experiences that they had, they decided that it's important for them to focus on themselves first. So self-love is basically being in a place of balance. Balance means you know when to say yes, when to say no. You know when to give and when to receive. You know when to meet your needs and the needs of other people. When you are loving yourself, you know how to honor yourself, respect yourself, value yourself, and most importantly, accept yourself. In the midst of accepting yourself is where you show yourself compassion, understanding, and love. The more we are able to forgive ourselves, the more we are able to forgive other people. The more we are compassionate towards ourselves, the more we are able to be compassionate towards other people. For someone who is practicing self-love, this is what happens. They first fill up their love tank. Right? And when they fill up their love tank, what's going to happen? Then it's going to overflow to people around them. So just like the oxygen mask analogy, you've heard this story before, right? So basically it's important to put your own oxygen mask first before you put it on someone else. And so for me, it's the same thing. When I started loving myself more, I realized I was happier, I was able to play, I was able to be more present with my children. And I come to see that the more happy I am, the more happier my children are. And the more present I am, the more they're able to be with me. And I'm able to be with them, whatever is going on for them. And remember, children learn from us as well, right? How we behave. So it's a great way for them to learn to love themselves. So here's one very simple practice I would like to invite you to take on. Every day, just ask yourself, what is one loving thing that you could do for yourself? So it could be very simple things like, taking 5 to 10 minutes off for yourself, right? A walk in nature. Treat yourself to a spa or massage. Or also practicing, just loving yourself when you're feeling fear or anxiety. Instead of judging yourself, having those emotions. Loving yourself when you have judgmental thoughts. That's loving yourself. So I would encourage you to take on this practice daily and see how it goes for you. For me, it definitely changed my life. Thank you for watching the Reinhardt Wisdom Show, and I look forward to seeing you next week.